We bring in now Hazem Alghabra. He's a former senior advisor at the US State Department. He joins us from Washington, D.C. Welcome, Hazem. Good to have you on the programme. And I mean, right up until the last minute when we had those US airstrikes on Iran overnight, there was a lot of hesitation over whether or not President Trump was going to give the order. Did you have any doubt?
Laura, let me start by saying there was never any hesitation. Actually, if you look at the timeline, not even for the strike, but the whole war so far, Trump gave the Iranians 60 days to engage in meaningful negotiations. They failed, and the Israeli strike started on the 61st days. President Trump and the U.S. administration was very clear that if Iran does not start taking this whole thing seriously, and I don't know what it would take for them to do that, there will be repercussions. And specifically, the Geneva meeting with E3 was a key indicator of how serious the Iranians are. And you see what happened. They went to Iran, the Iranian went to Geneva, came back with nothing and offered nothing, and the strike happened. I mean, the only thing missing right now is for Trump to put reporters on B-2s. Everything here is expected. Everything is going according to the plan. Iran is being given chances, and they're failing to respond positively to any chance they're given, and they're being punished for it. This is how these wars are run.
All right, stay with me, Hazem. I want to bring in Jonathan Conricus. Can we say that Iran perhaps fell prey to a second ruse that was put on by President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu? Because right until late last night, there were lots of discussions about will he or won't he, or do you think that was genuine, that hesitation?
Yeah, no, I think Mr. Alghabra is very correct. And the confusion and the wishful thinking was only with pundits and commentators and different parts of U.S. media who were hoping that the U.S. president wouldn't do it. I think in terms of decision-making, according to the sources I have at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies and others, this was pretty clear, and it was clearly communicated. So the ruse was in the beginning, yes. The fact that all of the Iranian Supreme Command was caught unawares and surprised, definitely. But, and of course, that led to about 20 senior officers being killed and the nuclear scientist being taken out as well, and that was absolutely important. But other than that, you know, I think the real issue here is, and I very much agree with what Mr. Alghabra is saying, but the real issue here is Iranian decision-making. And I think that, you know, non-democratic regimes, they struggle to deal with a dynamic environment. And after they have set their, objective and defined their objective, they struggle many times to adapt and to understand that that the situation is now fundamentally different. The Iranians have been used to dictating terms in the Middle East for the last 20, 25 years, building proxies, attacking Americans, attacking Israel, attacking the Saudis, and really not paying anything in consequence. Now the consequences come knocking in Iran, and you could see that their decision-making is really flawed. They've been given lifelines and off-ramps many times, but they're just not taking them. Now, for the first time, again, with what Ariel said about that they're now, the IRGC saying that they're monitoring U.S. forces and that they're not directly going to strike them, that's the first time that they're making a sensible decision that makes military sense. And it's the first time, and it's a week and 2 days too late from their perspective, but better late than never.
Yeah, it's only been a week and 2 days. It's so difficult to get your head around. Let me bring in Ariel, because you've got some news from Syria, and I want to get your reaction to that as well, Hazem, so stay with us. Ariel.
Yeah, and what appears to be the worst terror attack since President Bashar took office, an explosion in a church, the St. Elias Church in eastern Damascus. Very difficult images coming from their reports of numerous casualties, according to local reports. An armed suicide bomber entered the church, opened fire at worshippers, and then blew himself up. Syrian authorities are calling this already a terror attack. Still more information coming in, but this already appears to be the worst internal domestic terror attack since this new government took office in Damascus.
Hazem, would you like to react to the terrible news coming out of Damascus?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I grew up, my school was right down the block from that region, that area called Duela. I was like across the highway, meaning on the other side of the highway. And it's important to remember, Duela is one of the poorest areas in Damascus. The Christian people have always been precluded from high-paying jobs in the government and leadership. So it's very unfortunate to see these people also suffering from terrorism right now. But the buck needs to stop with the Syrian government, with the new Syrian government. It's their job. They came to power and promised to protect all Syrian citizens. This needs to be well investigated. And the Syrian government needs to understand that they can't just wish terrorism away. There needs to be tangible steps to reform, to figure out who's now thinking about doing these horrible acts to Christians and other people, and figure out a security plan for the country while they reform a lot of the people that came down with HTS to Damascus. We'll see. Very unfortunate, very sad to see the Syrian people continue to suffer just in a slightly different way this time.
This is something you've been warning about, of course, for a long time, Hazem. Just before I let you go, I want to ask you about the reaction of Arab countries in the region to what is happening in Iran.
See, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me this. I have quite the opinion about it. See, if you read some of the statements and you squint a little bit while reading, you can see the people writing it popping champagne in the background. I mean, it's unfortunate that we're not getting the honest opinion, but let's be honest with ourselves as well. A lot of the Arab countries are very scared of what's about to happen. The biggest concern that the U.S. and Israel will strike what they want to strike, they will disarm the nuclear program, then kind of leave Iran as a wounded animal that start biting and scratching its neighbors. So that is the biggest concern. This is why they're trying to play it safe with the Iranians, but also the Arab street is divided. It's actually less pro-Iran than ever, but there's clear division in the Arab street in regards to this war. And who do they support in this war? Iran is not the most loved place in the region, or the regime is not, to be specific. But again, there's the Islamic aspect, the whole resistant aspect.
There's a lot of mixed messages in the region right
now. Absolutely.
Hazem, always great to have you on the program. Thank you so much, Hazem Alghabra there.